Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Heater, and today I'm going to bring you guys your Week 1 NFL analysis review recap for the Cincinnati at New York Jets game. And let's go ahead, let's get into this. So, the Jets kick off. We get a touchback. Ball comes out on the 25, new roll. So, the Bengals open up their drive basically with a 3-and-out. They shot themselves in the foot on a 3rd-and-1 where Dalton tried to sneak it up the middle. False start on the offense, so Dalton drops back to pass when they replay 3rd down, and he tries to take off and gets sacked at the line of scrimmage. So Bengals punt. Jets get the ball on the 22-yard line. So the Jets come out with a pretty impressive drive. They march all the way down to the Bengals 17-yard line. There is a pass interference, defensive pass interference call. Gives them 14 yards. So 1st and goal on Cincinnati's 3-yard line, and Ryan Fitzpatrick finds Quincy and Unua 3 yards for the touchdown. Nick Folk with the kick makes it a 7-0 game. Throughout the drive, Matt Forte with some pretty good runs, and Fitzpatrick was able to find Brandon Marshall a couple times, which he's got Brandon Marshall, he's got Eric Decker. Not a bad two receivers, for Fitzpatrick to try and find, and he was able to find Marshall on a couple good throws. So Cincy with the chance to answer comes out. On the kickoff, they take it to their 21. They come out on their 21. And Dalton with a bubble screen to A.J. Green, takes it 15 yards and looking good. And then after that, they have some miscommunication. I don't know what went wrong. Dalton calls for, he calls the pass. A.J. Green thought they were blocking. So he's blocking downfield. Dalton's looking for him and then gets sacked, 5-yard loss. And then after that, Dalton had another incomplete pass. There was some offensive holding. It was declined, so 3rd and 15, 3rd and forever. Andy Dalton, deep pass intended for Boyd. It was intercepted by Williams at the Cincy 49-yard line. So Jets taken back over, like right where they left off. So the Jets come out on Cincinnati's 35-yard line. They give it to Forte. He takes it for 24 yards. He gets it again for another 2 yards. They're down at Cincinnati's 9-yard line. Fitzpatrick had an incomplete pass, and there was a penalty for roughing the passer. So with a whole new set of downs, that was on 3rd down too. So with the whole new set of downs, 1st and goal, the Jets don't do much. They try and settle for the field goal, and it gets blocked. So Cincinnati's defense coming up huge with this right now, getting back into the game after a rough first series, and turning what could have been, a horrible situation, still to a one-possession game. So Cincinnati comes out. Andy Dalton finds Uzama, the replacement for Tyler Eifert, for 54 yards on a 2nd and 4. He gets brought down at the Jets 20, and from there, a couple incompletions. He looks for Uzama again. They have to settle for the field goal, and they make it a 7-3 game. So the Jets come out on their 23-yard line. On a 2nd and 12, Fitzpatrick finds Enua 23 yards downfield. Beautiful pass. Great stuff. After that, Forte gets it for about 5 yards. 2nd and 5, Fitzpatrick scrambles up the middle for 3. Very close to the 1st down. He was probably a yard or 2 short. Would have set him up great on 3rd down, but instead they get a offensive holding penalty. So after that, incompletions, and then they're forced to punt. So after that, Cincinnati comes out on their 22-yard line. And they take no time on this drive. So Andy Dalton with the short pass to A.J. Green. He lost a yard. Bernard goes up the middle for 4. 3rd and 7, Dalton hits LaFell for 21 yards. And then after that, on a 1st and 10 from Cincinnati's 46, Dalton finds A.J. Green for a 54-yard touchdown pass. Green outbeat Revis, who got just caught up, kind of just sitting on his ass for a second. Foot race, and Green beat him to the punch. Phenomenal throw, phenomenal catch. So that puts Cincinnati up 10-7 here in the second quarter. So the Jets come out right from the kickoff. They got really good field position because Jalen Marshall takes it 65 yards down to Cincinnati's 39-yard line. I think he was like 5 yards deep in the end zone too when he caught this. So he had a hell of a run. And the Jets looking like they're about to go 3 and out. Fitzpatrick tries to find Jalen Marshall again, and we get an unnecessary roughness, 15 yards automatic first down, and the Jets take no time to capitalize off of this. Forte had a good run up the middle on a 2nd and 10 to give them a new set of downs. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick went 15 yards, found Eric Decker for the first time. He takes it in, but the point after failed. So the Jets are only up 13-10 right now. So the Bengals come out on their 25-yard line, and right from the start, the Jets put the pressure on Andy Dalton. They sack him from 5. They sack him for 9 yards. Sack him for another loss of 1 yard. He had an incomplete pass, and they're forced to punt on 4th and 20. Great defense by the Jets there. So the Jets come out, and they had a couple short gains. Forte would pick up 8. Short pass to Powell, and Forte took it for another 6. All in all, the Bengals on the Cincinnati's 27-yard line have to settle for a 45-yard field goal, and Nick Folk gets it after missing that point after. So that puts the Jets up 16-13. So the Bengals come out on their 15-yard line and basically replicate what the Jets did on their last drive. A lot of short throws for 5 yards here, 5 yards there. Dalton was finding LaFell a couple times. He was there to help bail him out. He had an incomplete pass to Boyd. We got defensive pass interference, which for 25 yards. After that, Cincinnati ends up with a 1st-and-goal, and Dalton was sacked for an 11-yard loss. They called their last time out with 47 seconds left to go. He had a short pass to Bernard on a 2nd and 18, basically, 2nd-and-goal. 2nd-and-goal from the Jets' 18. On a 3rd-and-goal, Dalton had a pass to Boyd, and there's like 6 seconds left to go. The field goal unit rushes their asses off onto the field. And Nugent makes the 21-yard field goal for Cincinnati to give them the 13-16 score going into halftime. And there's some weird confusion. I think there was an illegal formation on the defense or something like that. Cincinnati could have extended the quarter, for one play, elected not to. But regardless, we go into the third quarter. Jets with the ball to start off. And they come out on their 11. Basically, the story to this drive, they went 5 and out. Marshall gave them a new set of downs, and it looked like he was getting the ball rolling for them, but then they end up punting. Cincy comes out, and the Jets put the defense, they put the rush, the blitz, all the pressure on Dalton. They go 3 and out. Jets get the ball back, and it's the same sort of deal. It looks like they're going to start gaining some momentum. Fitzpatrick hit Forte for a 17-yard run, or 17-yard pass, but then they end up punting again. Cincy comes out. They're on their 8-yard line, and Dalton finds A.J. Green for 29 yards. A little bit later in the drive, the Jets really got to Dalton. They forced him to come out for a 2nd and 18. Really put the pressure on him. Actually, no. They didn't get Dalton. My bad. They stuffed the jet sweep. But then on 3rd and 18, Dalton ends up hitting LaFell for 49 yards. And then Jeremy Hill, basically on a 2nd and 10 from the Jets 12, runs it in for the touchdown. Extra point good. And Cincy goes up 20-19. So the Jets, with a chance to answer, come out. Really impressive drive. Forte gets it for 13 yards. He takes it for another 8. Powell gets it for 16 yards. Then he runs it for 7 yards. They're just muscling their way down the field. Powell with another 16 yards, setting up the Jets on Cincinnati's 31-yard line, and they started off on their own 25. So the Jets just running the hell out of the ball. Forte up the middle for another 9. Just an outright impressive drive of run game from the Jets. And they get set up, 1st and goal on Cincinnati's 3. Patrick takes it up the middle for 2 yards. Knee comes down before the ball crosses the goal line. They're on the 1-yard line. They try and run it up the middle with Forte. It gets stuffed. Patrick tries to lob it to Decker. Incomplete. So they have to settle for the field goal. Cincinnati's defense coming up real big inside the 5-yard line. Really, really good defense from them. So the Jets have to settle for the field goal, and it is now a 20-19 game. I think I messed up the score a little bit back there. When Cincinnati first scored 2016, now it's 2019. Might be on that, guys. That's might be if I messed that up. So on the Bengals' next drive, they come out on their 25. Dalton finds A.J. Green for an incredible catch. He had Revis all over him. He caught this for 32 yards. After that, Bernard had a 6-yard run. Dalton got sacked for the 7th time. Another 8-yard loss. I think this was a record, how many times Dalton's been sacked in a game. After that, though, he had another, it was a 3rd and 12. Dalton had a short pass to A.J. Green. It looked like he had it, but then when they showed the replay, the slow motion, the ball hit the ground. A.J. Green even lost control of it. He took his hand off of it, and it was sliding across the ground. It looked like a spectacular catch, but it got turned over. And then Nugget goes for a 52, or Nugent might be. He goes for a 52-yard field goal. No good. It was he kicked it wide right. So then after that, the Jets come out. Fitzpatrick finds Marshall for 15 yards. And there was a penalty on the Jets. Offensive pass interference. After that, Fitzpatrick scrambles for 9. He had a short pass to Anyuwa for 17 yards. After that, they basically end up settling down on Cincinnati's 15. They have a couple short yard passes, short yard run from Powell for 2 yards, and they have to settle for the 23-yard field goal, putting them up 22-20. Well, the Bengals come out, and they're looking to answer. There's about a little over 3 minutes left in the game. Dalton had a short pass to A.J. Green for 6 yards. Hill ran it up the middle for 6. Dalton found Green for another 9 yards, and there was a face mask penalty, another 15 yards enforced at the end of that. That's where the Jets started to shoot themselves in the foot. They gave up a huge chunk of yards right there. After that, Hill went for 4. Dalton found Wright for 7. 2-minute warning. And then Hill lost some yards on 2 separate plays. Dalton found A.J. Green for 11 yards, but it wasn't enough to get them the first down. It was 4th and 2, and Mike Nugent had the clutch 47-yard field goal, putting Cincinnati up 23-22. So the Jets, with a little under a minute to try and answer, Fitzpatrick had an incomplete pass to Brandon Marshall, in and out of his hands. Should have caught that. No excuses. After that, he had a really low pass to Eric Decker, incomplete. And then he gets picked off by Shaw at the Jets' 40-yard line. Cincinnati takes the knee, and that ends the game. Cincinnati wins 23-22. Really, just an overall exciting game from start to finish. But let's go into the stats. Andy Dalton went 23 for 30 with 366 yards, touchdown and an interception. Ryan Fitzpatrick went 19 for 35. Not what he was probably expecting. 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jeremy Hill led the Bengals rushing-wise, 9 carries, 31 yards. Giovanni Bernard was right behind him, 5 carries, 25 yards. Bernard didn't really see a whole lot of action. They weren't really true to the run game, but that goes back from the Jets' defense really getting in pressure on that line onto Andy Dalton. But for the Jets, Matt Forte, 22 carries, 96 yards. He had a pretty good game. And then Powell with 4 carries for 41 yards. He made use out of those couple carries. Fitzpatrick also ran it 4 times, 15 yards. Receiving wise, A.J. Green, 12 receptions, 180 yards, 1 touchdown. His longest was 54. Actually tied with Uzomah on a longest pass completion of the game. But LaFell, 4 receptions, 91 yards, and then Uzomah, 2 receptions, 59 yards. They found him, when they needed him. Green did. Probably could have used Eifert a little bit, in comparison, but it is what it is. As for the Jets receiving, Forte led 5 receptions, 59 yards. And Yunwa was right behind him, 7 receptions, 54 yards. Decker, 2 for 37, and Marshall, 3 for 32. Fitzpatrick fumbled once, got it back, though. They didn't lose that. Cincinnati, no fumbles. As for the defense, Carlos Dansby with 5 solo tackles. And right behind him was Vincent Ray with 5 solo tackles. Sean Williams had 4 solo tackles. Adam Jones with 5. Cincinnati's defense, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Joshua had 1 pass defense. Margus Hunt had 2 pass defenses. And, they were all over the place with QB hits. Let's not forget about that. As for the Jets, let me make sure I'm going to get this name right real quick. Muhammad Wilkerson with 5 solo tackles. Darrell Rivas with 5 solo tackles. And Steve McLendon with 5 solo tackles. Marcus Williams and David Harris also had 1 pass defense. And Leonard Williams with 5 QB hits. They were all over the place. Getting to Andy Dalton as a defense. The pressure was constantly there. Like I said, the Jets, they were all over Andy Dalton throughout the game. Dalton was able to find A.J. Green, when he needed to throughout. Same with Uzoma for a couple times, and LaFell on a couple drives. And Joshua had an interception. Marcus Williams also had an interception, for Cincinnati and the Jets respectively. And that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed your Cincinnati Bengals, New York Jets analysis, recap, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. Until then, you guys have a good one.